Greetings. This is Bradford Donald Keller Townsend, and this is a forward research report. This is the thrice knighted, benighted Grandmaster Knight. Um, the Army strategy really sucks. Let me tell you why. Firstly, they say here in their Army strategy document off the Army website that they wish to deploy their weapon systems by a jokeable 2028. They can't get their act together and have their new weapon systems up and running by 2028. That just shows that they're corrupt and incompetent and to set such a crummy goal. They also set shameful goals when it comes to military leadership, where they call for that word innovation. That is such a low standard to be innovative. They need to be ingenious. Um, they need people not who just copy what they've seen in the past. They need to be imaginative, original, pioneering, enterprising, inspired. They need to be inventive. So, uh, just copying and fighting the last war isn't an option. They also they talk about great power competitors being China and Russia. What a joke. China and Russia literally have at least 400,000 engineering and science and math students. That's STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics studying here in the United States in very sensitive areas, with its estimated tens of thousands of them working on nationally sensitive security projects. If they were really our enemies and weren't our allies, why would they be working with us on the space station, designing our most sensitive computer software? They say they want to own the electromagnetic spectrum. Then why let thousands and thousands of electrical engineers be trained? Why be training Chinese in Russia? The Chinese school system is horrific and terrible. It's laughable. That is why so many come here, partly. I've known many of them and hung out with the Confucian Institute people and have had lab partners and study mates and everything, studying at Indiana University's Department of Mathematics as a PhD post grad student in advanced math, computer science, and engineering. And there were always Russian and Chinese students at IU, Indiana University. Why are we having all these people here? Why are we educating them to go back? Because if you're an engineer and a mathematician, the biggest employer is the military industrial complex. So, why are we giving them our best educations that they're not able to obtain in their own countries? So the whole thing about the great power competitors is just an excuse for a huge military budget, when really the military is for domestic control and for looking at countries like getting the oil of Syria or Venezuela, um, or what's left in Kuwait or Yemen. So their strategy there, as far as developing people, and this thing about we are going to overwhelm them approach. What's that about? I mean, Finland in the Winter War defeated Russia, a much larger country in manpower, materiel, and held them off. How about we set the goal of taking a fraction of the resources and manpower and defeating much larger, better equipped, high-tech forces? Why not go for a much better. Then they talk about taking care of their men and women that serve. That's a good and about education. And then they end with conclusion. I always like to go to. It's always good to read the preface and conclusion, skimming over something and then reading it carefully. That's kind of the ideal way to learn things. Number 4. The Army strategy describes the strategic environment and lines of effort we pursue to achieve in Army vision by 2028. The total Army will build readiness, modernize concepts and capabilities, reform processes, and strengthen our alliances and partnerships to ensure land power dominance on any battlefield against any threat at any time. We will be ready to deploy, fight, and win decisively against any near-peer adversary in a joint, multi-domain, high-intensity conflict, while simultaneously deterring others and maintaining our ability to conduct irregular warfare indefinitely. We are confident that the Army strategy, when implemented, will with sufficient resources and through a sustained effort, will ensure our Army remains the world's dominant land force as we achieve our Army vision. And with that, you can see that they don't know how to punctuate a sentence and have a huge, they never learned English grammar. This would be at IU when I was an undergraduate, or at the Virginia Military Institute, in a history English type course. This is a flunk. Um, so they haven't even shown their mastery of the English language. Army, get your act together. I know the Navy's suffering horribly from lack of being able to get quality personnel. Um, you do have some quality personnel in the Army, and you can do better than this. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.